The Third Agrarian Oration by Marcus Tullius Cicero, translated into English from Latin by Gesine Manuwald. The tribunes of the people would have acted more beneficially, Romans, if, as to what they report to you about me, they had rather said this openly in my presence, for they would have retained the impartiality of your judgment, and the custom of their predecessors, and the authority of their position of power. But since so far they have avoided an open contest and dispute, now, if it seems good to them, let them come forward into my meeting of the people, and, where they did not wish to come provoked by me, let them at least return, having been issued another challenge. I see that some people, Romans, indicate something or other by their noises, and have not brought back for me to this meeting of the people the same faces that they showed in my last meeting of the people. Therefore I ask of you, who did not believe anything about me, that you retain that goodwill that you have always had towards me. But from you, who I feel are slightly changed, I demand a small benefit of a little time of good opinion about me, so that, if I should win approval from you for what I will have said, you retain this forever. If not, you leave it in this very spot, thrown away and abandoned. Your minds and ears have been filled, Romans, that I, wishing to gratify the 7 tyrants and other possessors of Rullan assignations, oppose the agrarian law in your benefits. If any have believed this, it is necessary that they first believe this, that by this agrarian law, which has been proposed, Rullan lands are taken away and divided among you, or at worst, that possessions of private individuals are diminished, so that you can be settled on those. If I show, not only that not a clod from the Rullan lands is taken from anyone, but even that this kind of lands is confirmed and sanctioned by a certain section of the law in a very impudent way, if I point out that Rulus, by his law, so carefully looks after those lands that have been given by Rullan, that it is easily apparent that this law has been written not by a patron of your benefits, but by the son-in-law of Waldus, is there any reason then, Romans, that by that accusation that he has used against me in my absence, he did not despise not only my, but also your diligence and wisdom? There is the 40th section of the law, of which on purpose, Romans, I have not previously made mention before you, so that I did not seem to make an already covered scar of the Republic sore again, or instigate some new disagreement at a most inopportune time. And I will discuss it now, not for the reason that I believe that this status of the Republic should not be strongly defended, especially as I myself have announced myself as a patron of quiet and concord for this year to the Roman people, but so that I can teach rulers, at least to be silent in future on those matters on which he wishes there to be silence about him and his deeds. Of all laws, I believe that to be the most unjust and least like a law which the Interrex Lucius Flaccus put forward about Sulla, so that everything that the latter had ever done should be ratified. For while in other communities, when tyrants have been established, all laws are annulled and abolished, this man created a tyrant of the Republic by law. It is an odious law, as I have said, but still it has an excuse, for it seems to be a law not of the man, but of the time. What if this is far more shameless? For when by means of the Valerian law and the Cornelian laws something is taken away or is given, a shameless favor is joined with a harsh injustice. But still under those laws, he from whom has been taken has some hope, he to whom has been given a certain worry. Rulus' stipulation is as follows, quote, who after the consulship of Gaius Marius and Gnaeus Papirius, unquote. How far has he withdrawn from suspicion, because he named those consuls above all who were most opposed to Sulla? For if he had named Sulla the dictator, he believed this would be transparent and unpopular. But who of you did he believe to be of such slow wit, to whose mind it could not come, that Sulla was dictator after those consuls? What then does the Marian tribune of the people say, who throws us Sullans into unpopularity? Quote, after the consulship of Marius and Carbo, any lands, buildings, pools, marshes, places, possessions, unquote, he has passed over sky and sea, but he has covered everything else, quote, that have been publicly given, assigned, sold, handed over, unquote. By whom, Marius? After the consulship of Marius and Carbo, who assigned, who gave, who handed over, except Sulla? Quote, all these shall be under that right, unquote. Which right? No doubt he weakens it somewhat. The tribune of the people, too vehement, too forceful, annuls some Sullan matters. Quote, as those that are private under the best right, unquote. Under an even better one than paternal and ancestral ones? Under a better one. But the Valerian law does not say this. The Cornelian laws do not ordain it. Sulla himself does not demand it. If those lands attain some share of legality, some semblance of proper possession, some hope of duration, there is nobody so shameless among those men who does not believe that he is treated very well. You indeed, rulers, what are you looking for? That they may have what they have? Who forbids it? That it is private? So it has been proposed. That the estate at Hirpinum of your father-in-law, or rather the territory of Hirpinum, for he is in possession of it all, shall be under a better right than my paternal and ancestral estate at Arpinum. For this is what you are making a provision for. For these estates are indeed under the best right, that are under the best conditions. Free lands are under a better right than those subjected to a servitude. According to this section, all that used to be subjected to a servitude will not be subjected. Those free from mortgages are in a better legal position than mortgaged ones. According to the same section, all those with a liability, if only they are sullen, are freed. Tax-free ones are in a more favorable condition than those that are subjected to any tax. At my estate in Tusculum, I will pay a tax for the aqua crabra, because I obtained the estate by proper conveyance. If it had been given to me by Sulla, I would not pay, according to Rullus's law. I see that you, Romans, as the matter itself forces, are moved by the impudence, be it of the law, be it of the speech, of the law, since it establishes a better right for Sullan estates than for paternal ones, of the speech, since in a case of that kind it dares to allege that someone defends Sullan policies too vehemently. But if he only sanctioned those estates that had been given by Sulla, I would be silent, if only he himself admitted that he was a Sulla. But he not only makes provisions for those, but he even introduces some other kind of donation. And he, who criticizes that the Sullan possessions are protected by me, not only sanctions them, but himself introduces new assignations, and suddenly emerges as a Sulla for us all. For pay attention to what large grants of lands this critic of ours tries to make with a single word, quote, that have been given, presented, handed over, sold, unquote. I grant it. I am satisfied. What then? Quote, possessed, unquote. This the tribune of the people has dared to propose, namely that whatever anyone possesses after the consulship of Marius and Carbo, he should keep this under that right, by which what is private under the best right is kept, even if he is thrust out by force, even if secretly, even if by a favor he has come into possession. Hence, by this law, the legal system for Roman citizens, the legal categories of possessions, the injunctions of praetors will be annulled. Not a trivial matter, or a petty theft, Romans, is hidden under this word. For there are many lands turned into public property under the Cornelian law, and neither assigned to anyone nor sold, which are possessed by a few men in the most shameless manner. For these he takes precautions, these he protects, these he makes private. These lands, I say, that Sulla gave to nobody, Rulus does not wish to assign to you, but to present to those who possess them. I ask for the reason why you should bear that, what the ancestors left to you in Italy, in Sicily, in Africa, in the two Spains, in Macedonia, in Asia is sold, while you see that what is yours is given to possessors under the same law. You will now understand that the entire law has been written for the tyranny of a few, and is particularly suitable for the scheme of Sullan assignation. Certainly this man's father-in-law is a very good man, but now I do not discuss that man's goodness, rather the son-in-law's impudence. For the former wishes to keep what he has, and does not hide that he is a Sullan. The latter, so that he has what he does not have, wishes to sanction through you what is doubtful, and because he aims for more than Sulla himself, matters I oppose, he accuses me of protecting Sullan acts. Quote, my father-in-law, unquote, he says, quote, has some lands, deserted and far away. He will sell those according to my law for how much he will wish. He has some uncertain ones, and possessed by no right. They will be confirmed with the best right. He has some public ones. I will turn them into private ones. Finally, as for those estates that he connected as the best and most fertile ones in the area of Casino, when he announced the enforced sale of the neighboring ones, right up to the point that he established by fashioning it with his eyes out of many properties, a single area and plan of an estate, which he now holds with some fear, these he will possess without any concern. And since I have shown for what reason and for whose sake he has proposed this, Let him now explain himself which owner I protect when I oppose the agrarian law. You are selling the Scantian forest. The Roman people owns it. I protect it. You divide the Campanian land. All of you are in possession. I do not yield. Then I see possessions in Italy, Sicily, and other provinces for sale, and proscribed by this law. These are your estates, your possessions. I will oppose and fight back, and I will not suffer that the Roman people is removed by anyone from its possessions in my consulship, particularly Romans, because nothing is sought for you. For you ought not to remain in this error any longer. Is there any one of you suited to force, to crime, to bloodshed? Nobody. And still for that kind of men, believe me, the Campanian land and that beautiful Capua are reserved. An army is set up against your liberty, against Gnaeus Pompeius, against this city Capua, against you a group of most audacious men, against Gnaeus Pompeius. 10 generals are arranged. Let them come and discuss openly, since they have not called me to your popular meeting when you demanded it.